Hi everybody! If you are watching this video, you are probably planning to write a motivation letter for your international university. To make your process easier, let us look at what exactly is a letter of motivation and everything you need to know about this letter. So what is a motivation letter? A motivation letter or letter of motivation for a university is a letter that the applicant writes where he or she introduces themselves and explains why they are a perfect fit for the course they are applying for. This letter is usually attached along with the application sent to the university. A letter of motivation is an important inclusion along with the candidate's application because a university might receive hundreds of applications for a certain course at any given point. A letter of motivation would help in the filtration process a university does to find its perfect candidate. This also helps the university find such candidates who are truly passionate about the course so that they don't miss an opportunity just because they were judged on the basis of their mark sheet. Now, let us discuss what is the format of a motivation letter. Always start with the introduction. It is important to have a well thought out introduction that has a personal greeting and a convincing first paragraph. Do your research and try to find the name of the person to whom you are sending your letter and address them with their name. Giving a personal touch while addressing the letter will leave a lasting impression on the admissions committee, making them pay more attention to your motivation letter. Talk about why you chose this course. In the first paragraph itself, mention the name of the course you're applying for and what made you choose that particular course. Also, include a little about what excites you about that particular course and university. Include a hook in the letter that can be anything from a different course that was done to other achievements or certificates that were received during your previous courses. Talking about these accomplishments will help the admissions committee to see why you will make a great candidate for the course. Provide proof of why you will make a perfect candidate. Write in detail about your academic profile. Make sure to write your accomplishments, achievements, academic journey, and career aspirations in the student motivation letter. Although it is important to elaborate on your skills and passions, elucidating your zeal for your chosen course, it is also important that all of the achievements mentioned need to be factual and concise. Talk about your future goals. This section of a student motivation letter can include the candidate's long-term and short-term goals. Mention clear end goals and the timeline within which you are planning to achieve them to show the university that you are serious about your future. Short-term goals include the reasons why you have chosen this course, what roadmap you have built for yourself to complete the framework of the course, what skills are you planning to attain during the period of this course. Long-term goals, on the other hand, includes your aspirations and what is it that you want to achieve from life in the long run. It can also include what motivates you to stay on track and achieve what you want to achieve. Don't forget to add conclusion. Use the conclusion area to summarize what is already mentioned in the letter. This is the part of the letter where you get to create an impact and a long-lasting impression on the reader. Make sure to highlight the main goal of the letter, which is acquiring admission to the university of your dreams. It is important to remember that the last impression is as important as the first impression. Add a call to action. Including a CTA is not mandatory, but it can add value to your letter. As a CTA, you can include your personal cell phone number or email ID for them to get in touch with you. Although you will get updates regarding your admission process on the email address provided by you on your application by default, it is always a good idea to leave it in your letter as well. Do not forget to proofread. Once the entire letter of motivation is drafted, make sure it is error-free. Proofread multiple times to make sure that all of the information is factual and that there are no spelling or grammatical errors and that there are no ambiguous statements. If your letter is too vague and not on point, you might not be able to grab the attention of the admission officer. Proofread the letter as many times as you want to ensure that the intended message, which is getting admission to the university, is clear and the letter's authenticity is maintained. Let us look at what are some of the tips for writing a motivation letter. Number 1. Cover the basics. Structure the motivation letter in such a manner that it fulfills its main purpose as motivation letter, to convince the admission committee at the university that you are the best candidate to get admitted for the course. Be direct while concluding the letter by asking for an opportunity to study at the university or be called for an interview for admission, depending on what the next course of action is. It is also equally important to make sure that the English written language in your letter is good. It would not work in your favor if the letter of motivation is filled with grammatical errors or spelling mistakes. Point number 2. Address the letter to a specific person. As is required for all letters, it is necessary point to make sure to address the motivation letter to a specific person rather than a committee or a department. If it's for a master's program, it could be the head of staff or the academic staff member who is responsible for your specific master's study program. If you are writing a letter of motivation for a doctoral degree, as in most research programs, you will be working closely with an academic supervisor and your letter need to be addressed to the supervisor who you prefer to guide you. An easy way to find out the person who's going to read your letter of motivation is to visit the university's website. From there, find the right person and address your letter with their name and title. Number 3. Include proof. One of the important things to remember while writing a letter of motivation is show, don't tell. Avoid overly ambiguous sentences like "I'm a good leader" or "I know to handle projects." Instead, be specific about your statements and talk about the time you were recognized for your work or the time you got a trophy or certificate for something you have worked on. Also, make sure not to talk about the same thing twice. If you have mentioned a specific achievement in your CV, don't dwell on it for too long in your motivation letter. Number 4. Do sufficient research. All academic institutions have their own set of missions, visions, priorities, and values. Research and learn about things like what is the motto of the university you're applying to, or how do they reflect on their statement of values. Doing sufficient research and writing a motivation letter talking about how that university's courses will help you strengthen your skill set and achieve your career goals will help assure the admissions officer that your choice to study at their institution is an informed one. Number 5. Be specific. Your letter of motivation is your chance to explain your thought process and your inspiration for choosing a course at that university. Don't be too vague. Be specific about both why you have chosen a course and why you have decided to do that course in that particular university. Number 6. Keep it interesting. Tell them a story. No matter who the reader of your motivation letter is, everyone loves a great story. Writing a clear story about where you started, all the accomplishments you have achieved, and your journey to choosing a course and university with a clear beginning, middle, and end will go a long way rather than just simply mentioning your achievements without any depth to it. There has to be a logical flow to the sequence of your events that will lead the reader to feel convinced about your choice of course and university. How do you write a letter of motivation for Germany? German universities often have specific things they are looking for in a motivation letter. Make sure to find the sweet spot where you're not being too formal and missing out on the chance to be creative with your letter, or being too candid and forgetting to mention the important details of your education, career, and achievements. For the most part, the format of writing the letter is the same. However, there are some additional points that can be included in your letter of motivation that will help you structure your letter and make it more impactful, specifically as a letter of motivation for Germany. Start with, why do you want to study in Germany? While applying to a German university, make sure to include this in your letter. Do not say things like you're applying because you wish to leave your country or that you're doing it because your peers have done it. Do not say that you're doing it because you want an international degree to show off. Rather, write about what about Germany interests you the most. Write about their culture and heritage and about your interest in studying a new language. You can also write about how you will be able to contribute to a specific industry if you graduate from that specific German university. Do you have any previous international exposure? Write about it. It is an added advantage if you have any previous experience staying, studying, or working in an international place. So, make sure to write about it to your advantage. Even if you do not have any previous experience living in an international environment, write about how adaptable you are and how you have done your research about the country well enough to settle there. Lastly, write about how your personality is perfect for international education. Rather than talking about how extroverted or introverted your personality is, talk about how much it means to you to be part of a global community and how important social inclusivity and cultural diversity is to you. Write about how keen you are to make friends who come from various parts of the world and your appreciation for various cultures. So, that's it, guys. That's everything you need to know about the letter of motivation. If you want to know more about how to craft a perfect letter of motivation, visit nebula.com or click on the link given in the description box below. See you next time.